to watch. A little bit frustrating, obviously, from my perspective, given the absolute betrayal that you did. But nonetheless, we're now into the losers bracket finals. So we're going to be watching Sound As, which we've seen already play today, and we're going to be watching Flynn2kBabyRage play against them, the game that we just watched a few moments ago. Um, I'm going to let you do the tail of the tape because you've got a bit more information than I have because I took a bit longer on the break. So fire away, mate. Tell me what's happening.
All right, so how have we ended up here? Sound as, we'll start with these guys. They've had a lower bracket run. Initially, they did lose to Flynn2kBabyRage. That knocked them down into that lower bracket, but they've come back with two big wins against Corona Crabs and Cozy. Now in a rematch, of course. So today, Sound as have played Mirage twice, and last time these two teams matched up against each other, it was Overpass. On the other side of things, on this upper bracket run, Flynn 2K Baby Rage played against Sound as in their first matchup, won on Overpass, of course.
Hmm.
And then they took an L to own in the last game, which was on Overpass again. So maps that are likely to come out of this are Mirage and Overpass, unless these two teams want to try and throw a spanner in the works and pick a map that they've never played before.
Anything could really happen in a way. I mean, if they go for a map they haven't played previously, gives them a bit more options as far as trying new things out. Both these teams haven't seen each other against it on previous matchups. I mean, you would tend to favor the potential of having a different map, right? Like you would tend to think that that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
But what normally happens in these sort of tournaments and these sort of players is they stick with what they know, and that
Oh,
could potentially be the downfall of a team.
I have the veto.
Go for it.
Flynn has vetoed Dust 2, then
Hmm.
Sound as minus Overpass, minus Inferno, minus Ancient, Mirage, and Nuke. So we've ended up where we started, Nick, on Vertigo.
Yeah. On Vert. We love a Vertigo though. Like we
Oh.
definitely do. Love hate relationship for me, but you love a Vertigo at least anyway. And I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of enjoying playing Vertigo, and I'm also kind of enjoying watching Vertigo.
Yeah.
I think it's a good versatile map. Favors your high altitude plays. That was a
Right.
terrible pun. Give me that one. Yeah, I think it's actually growing on me a little bit more. And just so you're aware, very briefly, I think everyone in game can still hear me.
That is unfortunate. Definitely not the situation that we want to have. Yeah, while we sort out
On
those
you.
tech issues, I guess we'll round up and talk about Vertigo as a map. So we saw it earlier in the day. Of course, there was a little bit of a weird situation there, um, where you kind of ended up with a T side that didn't possibly take all the advantages that they could have done. And it was just kind of a story of T side, or sorry, CT sides running away with things.
Hmm. And
But yeah,
that's like the kind of big issue with the sort of map, isn't it? Really, it favors that team that take the early advantage away from the other team. Um, it can really, it can really kind of throw a spanner in the works. Um, I'm not going to talk as much though, because obviously the players can still hear me. Hello, gents in the server. By the way, this is your conscience speaking. Stop buying skins and let me sleep on your couch with the TT races. There you go. That's pretty much it. To be honest with you, that's all I wanted to say. Anything you want to say to the players, Jama, while we're in here?
no, no, just good luck, have fun.
Good luck,
I
have
want to
fun.
see
Yeah,
some BM, some nice skins.
nice skins,
Everything
BM.
else,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
we can do that. We can definitely do that. I think we probably end up having to restart very quickly, just so we can make sure that they can't hear me giving call outs and stuff like that. As much as it would be nice to coach a team, Jama, probably not the best suited for it, to be completely honest with you.
Well, I guess it doesn't work when you're coaching both teams at the same time.
Yeah, it does. You're right there. You're very right indeed.
I mean,
Can
you
you
come out on
imagine
top
though?
either way. You could just be
Yeah, I
like, I have a
mean,
100% win rate as coach.
yeah, definitely. Either way, I'm gonna. Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have said anything. That would have been perfect on the old CV. That would have, right?
Then we
Me
both
sitting
have
there.
that little notch of coach on our like CV.
In theory, I have actually coached before, but in PUBG, which is not as.
How do you coach in PUBG? How does that work?
So when you pug PUBG, we used to pug PUBG in the non-ranked. and we just jump into like game after game after game. We practice rotations, we practice dead spots, where we're going to essentially just be like holdout spots we call them, but basically where you're kind of setting up your own little compound to lock in and secure for center circle.
Right.
So it requires you to have like two or more vehicles. You find a nice big open patch of grass with trees around you. You slam all three vehicles into each other to make it look like a box without an end, like like a cup, basically.
Interesting.
Blow the vehicles up, and then you've got hard cover as well as open field to fire and everything around you.
Well, there you go, guys. If you want cover and there's trees around you, just drive 3 cars into each other to make a box, and you've basically got permanent fortifications. I wish
I
you had a
wouldn't say
chance to
permanent
that. Yeah.
fortifications. They added tanks and stuff into it, not tanks, but like APCs into it, which kind of killed that vibe off just as soon as it started to like really come into fashion. But yeah, we used to. I coached in PUBG for a bit, a couple of different teams here and there, just kind of all freelance stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like I was still playing myself at the time, and you don't really want to give too much away to a team that you potentially could come up against in like Azure. It was back then. This is going back years and years, of course, but yeah, you'd have the odd coaching days here and there. Nothing quite as intense as what you're used to, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. CS, it can be pretty intense, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm locked in now. I'm back in, server wise and ready to rock and roll. So it's like, I would imagine I'm also back into playing more and more of it. And you've been kind of instrumental in that, of course, because you bullied me into doing it. But um, like you essentially said to me one day, you're like, bro, you should play more. I was like, maybe. I don't like playing matchmaking. I don't like playing face it because I tend to go up against players we commentate about, and that's always
Just
nice when you're in the server playing against the player that you commentated for.
just for the record, people at home, this is what Nick classes as me bullying him.
Oh
So
yeah,
when
yeah.
he's out
Jama
there crying wolf,
doesn't.
just
Yeah,
realize those
Jama
are
doesn't
crocodile
bully me.
tears.
This it's a fair point in fairness. Like Jama doesn't bully me. He just slowly abuses me over time.
Right.
And no, I'm joking. No, in fairness though, it was really handy having you around the other day. I was playing CS to my own sort of stream, a personal stream, and Jama jumped in. He was like, "Bro, why are you throwing that flashbang? Don't do that." Like on vertical as well. Even weirdly enough, why are you throwing that flashbang? Put a molly there instead. Use that ground to your advantage. And then it's like it's weird how it clicks into play in the background of your mind. You're like, I literally talk about players doing this wrong every single time, yet I'm doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that little bit of click of knowledge kind of thing. So yeah, having someone like yourself as a coach, definitely a match made in heaven. I'm sure you'd like to move to the Isle of Man as well to help out with these players.
Yeah, honestly. Any teams out there that want some coaching, hit us up.
We have just found out that there's no speed limit on the national roads as well, so that definitely doesn't like impact our decision, of course, like at all.
Well,
Um, I think the other thing that we found out today about Isle of Man, because we've been learning as we go along, of course, we're talking to the wonderful production team in the background, is that you guys don't have Uber Eats or Just Eat or anything like that. So that might be that's a
the
big
deal breaker.
con in it.
Yeah.
Like there's pros and cons. That's a pretty big con for me.
Thumbs
Um,
down from us for that one.
yeah, thumbs massively down. Like that needs to change. Perhaps we could be the people to bring that change, Jammer. Go from
Right.
commentating to just driving around the island, dropping takeaway food off to people.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get there in record time if there's no speed
Oh
limit.
yeah, 100%.
I mean, half your curry might be across with the bag that I carry it in, but it'll be there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I am not a speed demon when it comes to driving personally, but I'd be more than happy to give it a go if I had the famous roads of the Isle of Man to go through, like a
Yeah.
TT racer. I think that would be fun to give a crack. Um, Moving swiftly on from breaking speed limits, of course. Yeah,
Uh,
uh,
I'm not sure what's going on. So a player just readied up. The reason why I laughed, a player just readied up and then immediately left the game. So yeah,
nice.
that's
That's
a,
good.
a great
That's a good
start.
touch. That's a very good touch. That is. It's a great
uh,
touch. All right, Jama. Big question for you, right? You can
all
only
right.
save 3 chocolate bars in the entire world. Like, what chocolate bars are you going to
I hate
save?
you. I hate you
I
so
know.
much.
This is such a good
Um,
question though, because it's controversial. I love it. It's the best question ever.
um, it has to be. Um, I don't know. I was gonna say, I was gonna say one of my favorite chocolate bars, and then I realized I no longer eat them because they are produced by a company that I refuse to give money to.
Okay, let's change it then. CS weapons, right?
CS weapons. Is this a tier list? I hear.
This no, definitely not tier list. Nerf one and boost one.
Ooh.
Go.
Okay, okay. Damn. Which one? FAMAS boost. Or
Okay.
buff, sorry.
Buff,
And
yeah,
then
not booster.
nerf. What do I want to nerf? Maybe I think
This
uh
is controversial as well, isn't it? Like, I always hit you with
maybe
two controversial
maybe
questions.
the not the USP. Okay, I'm gonna say two buffs instead. I want to buff the
Okay, yeah,
P2K and I want to buff the FAMAS.
yeah. Ooh,
P2K doesn't
okay.
get enough love.
It
So
doesn't.
yeah.
It really doesn't. I have never used it because it doesn't have the same potential as the USP.
Yeah, maybe like
Um,
two extra bullets in the magazine or something. That's a big
yeah,
enough buff.
yeah, give it that little bit of extra headshot potential as well. Like it's something. It just needs something to really tweak it. Um, I also think that we should fetch back R8 from launch day with R8
No.
because I'm evil like that. Can you imagine jumping into matchmaking or like a face it game and the R8 is back the way it
Okay.
was?
For that stance alone, I'm gonna say you deserve the
The
bottom
these nuts.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fair. It's like the pineapple on pizza question, right? Like,
Oh, I love pineapple on pizza though.
there we go.
Look, you,
I
you
can
get
see
some
this.
pineapple on there, maybe something salty, like some meat, and then jalapenos. You got like sweet, salty, spicy, everything. It's an amalgamation of love.
I can't believe that our relationship dissolved over a single day. It's crazy. That is like it's really weird.
I was literally
Um,
saying earlier, I'm expecting you to put out a tweet like from that meme where it's like friendship over a jammer. My new best friend and co-commentator is so and so.
Even that, or like the Mr. Incredible
Yeah.
meme, well, it's like those you know, those you know. Kind of, I might make one of them after we finish up today. But yeah, I mean, we've gone through the tail of tape. We're not going to bore you again with the facts, figures, and everything else that we already know. We're going to be jumping more or less straight into the game after these sides have sorted out who's going to be on which side. I mean, this is the normal time that we do our little knife check, but we've already done that already for both these teams. There's no point in us doing it, Jammer. We just kind of crack on and hopefully get the show on the road relatively quickly.
Yes, I think I need to reconnect because I've somehow managed to glitch my way out of spectating the same thing as you.
Nice.
Unless it's meant to be in third person.
Weston in chat was like, does it have to be a bar because Ferrero Rocher isn't a bar? Wow. He's got a point, though.
Does
Pick up
have
the
a
Ferrero
point.
Rocher massive. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying.
would save a Ferrero Rocher.
Toblerone as well, mind. Christmas time,
Oh,
absolutely
you know what?
perfect.
This is going to be controversial. Lindor, Ferrero Rocher, and then third one, maybe Maltesers, but just because of the Maltesers ice cream.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. Celebrations Maltesers, best thing ever. Anyway, speaking of best things ever, pistol round, my favorite round. Pushing straight into the action, we've got one pick already, and that's Nitbag doing most of the damage there. He gets laid out in the end by Imperial, but Bolden's deep, exactly where he likes to play, up close, in your face, personal, and he makes it personal as well with a 1v1 fight onto Godlike Tiger. He's also laid damage out elsewhere, and that headshot's
What?
insane. Woohoo!
So close, you can smell his BO. But he still comes out on top, and that's sound as to put the first round on the board.
That's how you start pistol round, my friend. A little bit of
Yeah.
flair, a little bit of action in the background of it. There's some words that we could talk about in a few moments with the way that push came through into Nitbag. Nitbag doing all the entry damage that was needed, and Bone just capitalizing on the entry. Straight forward into that fight. Perfect.
Perfect indeed. T side off to a flying start. There's a force from the CT side. Flynn2kBabyRage. They're scrambling around the place trying to find out what to do, and I have no idea what to make of this. There's a middle entry from RazJ. A lot of A contact, but the bomb, it's heading back towards B.
This is one of those kind of weird hybrid rounds where you're like, there's SMGs all over the place and a couple of deagles, of course, that we... Oh, speaking of deagles, that happened off camera view, unfortunately, but there's a mad spray of damage there onto B site, and TJ comes off the batter. Nitbag is tapped, but not as bad as what you would expect there, especially with the deagle impacted into him. That grenade does a tiny little bit of damage to Tiger God, but at the moment, he's just looking to try and capitalize on some of the positional mistakes, potentially. You can hear the
Well,
reload coming through, though, can't you? The jump comes through, Jammer, and TJ will finish that round off for us.
yeah, unfortunate. The smoke being that lingering, as well as the fact there's no kit, just really forces Tiger to get a move on, and he just pushes into his own demise. I kind of rate the force buy, but the
Yeah.
positions that they were left in, I'm not sure what was going on. I think there was a little bit of a scrambling of plays or lack of resolution from the players. So unfortunate
Oh,
in the end,
Jammer.
but we're having it. We're having it. It's a B rush. The attrition has come through, and Sound as have come out on top. Just as Zag left alive, and he gets taken out immediately. So quick 3-0 to start things off on Vertigo, but CT side should be coming back into fruition right now.
Quick rounds. We like them. You know, it
Oh,
happens. Get those
double
pistols
up.
out of the way. Is that a double up setup on CT? It is. Okay, I mean, again, positional wise from a CT side, you've got to be very, very careful about where you place both these orbs, right?
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
not quite a just, you know, throw enough of it at them and hopefully something will stick eventually. You've got to be very, very careful about how you position. Speaking of position, that two-way split there on mid works out quite nicely in the favor of Finn, as they managed to do a lot of damage on Raz as well as Nitbag, but in the end, both of them are, well, actually, both of them get picked up respectively from the players that initially laid the damage out. Oh, good transfer there from Imperial onto Bowden, and that's Steven TJ with a lot to answer for in a 1v3.
Yeah, there is an AWP there to retrieve, but an AK in hand will do good enough. A 1 versus 3 situation. Gets the first, but that's info passed along. So the CTs can reposition now. You can see that maneuvering occurring as we speak. And oh, the swing is good. There's no trade. And oh, godlike Tiger with the adjustment, but that could have gone very wrong.
That's fast. Tech pause coming into effect. Not quite sure what's going on. Ah, there you go. That's the player DC. That'll be the reason why. Quick as you like with that AWP though from Godlike. I mean, that's it. You know, that's a hairy moment when you think about it in the long scheme of things. They've lost a lot of players due to attrition, and then it's a 1v1. You've got arguably one of the higher fragging players that we've seen so far today coming up against you, pulling that kill off like that. It's definitely going to send a little bit of a shockwave through the back lines and through the players.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of, a bit that being a bonus round. So even though you don't
Yeah.
necessarily win, like the fact that you get so much damage done is good enough for this
Yeah.
point in the matchup.
I'd agree with that, definitely.
Well, just waiting for a player to restart. What would you call as a prospective coach for the CT side in this situation? You have an AWP, armor kit. Do you force around it?
Part of me wants to say yes, and the reason why part of me wants to say yes is because you're going up against AKs anyway.
Yeah.
You know, the one tap, there's no point in buying body armor, head armor even against AKs. So
Yeah.
you can afford to buy yourself body armor and also buy yourself a rifle out of it as well to force up around it. But you also then run the risk of having this like 3-round repeat afterwards, where you're
Yeah.
sat on the back foot almost constantly because you just don't have the economy to build yourselves back up. CT economy is the worst anyway. You know, when you're in those sort of dire situations. Yeah, I mean, I rate the buy up around it, but I also it's a hesitant one. You know, I'm hesitant to say it's a good idea because we've seen Flynn2kBabyRage fall into this trap already once before. You know, are we going to then see it again happening?
I think this is a like high risk, high reward situation. You
Yeah.
can rock the T side economy if you're able to win the round and keep, players alive, but that's just the real big question mark around it. Can you keep players alive? Can you even win the round to start things off? So big questions for Flynn2kBabyRage to answer right here. And of course, this is a rematch. Last time around when these two teams faced off, Flynn2kBabyRage won, but in overtime. So Sound as definitely up to par with this squad. Now, bit of a slower opening as Soundaz try and make
Mm.
moves towards middle. Imperial has blocked them off with a smoke, but oh, what
Oh.
is that entry? There is a trade from Respect, but that's a lot of ground given up by Flynn2kBabyRage, and you can see Hazazag, he's on an island with that MP9 over towards B. That could fall at a moment's notice, and just as I say that, the A site defense has fallen as well, so extremities being tested and faltering for all intents and purposes. There is somewhat of
Oh.
a recovery from
Yeah.
Flynn2kBabyRage, as it is a 3-on-3, but as I said, these lower man situations will often favor the T side because they can just walk into a site together and trade. There's an entry from TJ, no trade required, so 2 versus 3 left in the retake, no kits, barely any utility. This is all on Soundaz to make the mistakes. Oh,
As
okay.
TJ taking out the fight immediately as well. You've still got the open play, of course, that's set up away from side, but he needs to land those shots if he's going to have any chance of winning this round out for his team. He does land the first. He's looking quick draw for the second. He needs a little bit more room to maneuver with, and you'll get it in the form of Hazag slightly peeking that shoulder a little bit too much there.
Yeah, a little bit too close for comfort, but Soundaz do escape somewhat scathed. Flynn2kBabyRage, though, they're stuck back on pistols.
And this is exactly what we were talking about earlier on, Jammer. This is the double-edged sword, right? If you
Yeah.
make it work, fantastic. You've got a couple of rounds where you're going to be able to buy into. Again, you lose 2 or 3 players in rounds like that, not a huge issue. You lose the round entirely, and it's just this is like 3 rounds in a row potential that Soundaz have to build up as much cash as possible. Raz J looking back down the ramp, ready to receive any of these CT players that are going to edge his way or try to edge his way, but it looks like the rotation's coming back out. They're going to look to come through mid. They'll come through mid, but Bowden's waiting for him, and we know that Bowden doesn't miss when he's on a good one. He'll drop down to 1 HP, and Oreo will finish him off in the end. That's it. Soundaz go to put number 5 on the board.
Bowden with a hot start, 9-4, but this max loss bonus needs to come into fruition right here. Flynn2kBabyRage, they're on the buy, but they don't have, every bell and whistle that they could
Yeah.
want in terms of utility. They do have that double up set up again, and I think they'll probably fare better in this situation than they would against the SMGs. It's just a matter of whether they can connect the shots.
See, I've seen some teams in this situation favoring to a double eco.
Right.
And yes, lose 2 rounds, go to round 8, and then buy deep into round 8, knowing that you've got the capability then of buying for 2 extra rounds. Hazag will put Raz J out of his misery, at least anyway. Initial pick there coming in from the Oprah back setup on red box.
Oh,
he's
that's a
white
nice
lead.
flashbang.
That's so good.
Well, Imperial can take down Bowden. That's a nice flash, and they gain access to the B site. The rotations are in, and it's all onto Nitbag. He gets an entry, 1 versus 2. Only one player very close to him, and he knows it. Just locking down the lines right now, trying to spot out anything that he can get. Tapping for the plant to bait players in, and there we go. It's locked in, but that'll be it. A second round on the board for Flynn2kBabyRage. It is costly, but I'll be happy to pick it up nonetheless.
Will indeed. I mean, that's going to alleviate a little bit of stress, right? That's going to buy them a little bit of room to maneuver and kind of maybe switch things up, switch positioning up of sites. This double up setup from CTs, I don't know about it personally, and I don't know enough to comment on it. But you've got to be very careful with it. I know that much.
Yeah. So for it to work, you need to be in a positive man scenario coming into that post plant. If there's a 1-on-1 or a 2-on-1 like to your favor, it can be pretty scary, and they're just lucky that they get the right timings. But it's a tough one to really talk about to any great degree in this amount of time. But as you can see, Soundaz, they're content to continue to press the issue and tagging up from both of these players, but the pressure is really being put onto B site right now, and they're bleeding. There's the first player to fall, and the second. The rotations are here, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do it this time. 3 versus 4 in the post plant. No big flank coming through, and, well, Flynn2kBabyRage, they need to just save anything that they can at this point, but it's just the AWPer left alive.
Yeah, Oreo is in such a deep position that he hasn't got an option of saving at that point. He's just gonna have to hold out and pray that he can somehow lock horns with at least one of the players and finish him off. But the blood is definitely being sensed in the water by the sharks, and they are starting to circle godlike tiger. Tigers don't swim that well in open water, and the sharks will finish him off.
I think they're actually quite good swimmers.
In open water, I said. I didn't say a river. I said open water.
Okay,
Sharks like to
okay,
swim in the
okay.
sea. Thank you. I see. When I do puns, I go too deep into them. We need to have like, you and I need to have a pun workshop where you help me out a little bit. You know what I mean?
Oh, right, right.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
seems like the flood of
TJ.
advance from Flynn2kBabyRage is going to be towards B. TJ is going to be happy to collect those frags. 3 on for the 4th. Even, okay, not quite the
Oh
ace. Nice jiggle peek in the end from Respect, but doesn't seem like any respect is going to be given to this Flynn2kBabyRage squad unless they earn it. I don't like this spot. It's
no,
so
neither do I. Get
yeah.
pushed
There
from
you go.
two. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't like the spot because you get pushed from two sides.
Yeah.
Like there's just you've got no escape route there at all. Um, and again, like going back to what we said earlier on, Sound as are very much when they're on the front foot, they're going to continue to push that front foot as much as they can, but they're also going to ensure that you can't retain weapons into the next round. They want to choke you with the CT economy. Max loss bonus aside, of course. Double up setup again, Jammer, into round 10. 7-2 is the scoreboard. Is the score at the top of the scoreboard, I should say.
Indeed. I mean, honestly, I'm really, gonna falter this double up setup right now until it starts working, because right now
Yeah.
it's just not paying dividends and it's a big investment to make. A control, at least for the ramp portion of A, is going to be forfeited over towards Sound as, and they have an open playing field right now. They can just freely execute onto the site, and there's not really much that Flynn2kBabyRage can do about it. So tough spot to be in. It seems like they're fairly anxious about the rotation to come through as well. But here you go. Should be the execute, and oh, the timing. Godlike Tiger, not quite in the right spot to capitalize. Taken out. Imperial will help him out, but that will be bomb planted. 4 versus 4 in the retake, and this is a real tough task.
It's a big ask to come in for this 4-man team to try and get themselves into a decent position with it. Imperial wants none of that. Swing peeks out like, yeah, I'm good, thank you. Anyway, I'll get myself back into cover. TJ again chiming in. He's been instrumental all throughout the entirety of the Sound as team. RasJ there with another pick.
Yeah, that's how the cookie will crumble. Imperial 1v1. No real lifeline left in this, and he's just been caught between a rock and a hard place. Unfortunate. An 8th round for Sound as. Valiant attempt, but that retake was just way too fragmented.
Yeah, it kind of fell to pieces before it even begun. And I think when you're going up against a team like this with Sound as, with the way that we've seen them play so far today, you have to have a lot of good synergy between you, and you can't really be you can't really be pushing back into site and retaking in dribbles. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to go in as a full stack, and you have to try and swing in from different angles, and that, especially up against a player like RasJ with Yorp. I mean, he's at sandbag position. He's fully open to counter AWP if it's there to be able to put into place to get him, but it just doesn't feel like there's much of a game plan for that to happen. And these guys are just playing with their guns at the minute. Yeah, why not?
I mean,
Can't
when you're
blame them.
8-2 up, you don't blame them.
No, definitely not.
Well, does seem like Flynn2kBabyRage are trying to talk things over, trying to find a solution to the problem that is Sound as, who have sound strategy for the time being, but we'll wait to see if there's any sort of comeback from the CT side. We talk about Vertigo being pretty CT-sided, but if you can't manage your economy, you don't even have a chance.
The original chance. This is nice, though. It's a different idea. Push through pistols, get team damage on it as well. Why not? And just try to do something. Try to get those picks. You know, put at least 2 or 3 on the board for yourself as far as kills are concerned. It's always going to help things.
Well, now it's a matter of keeping that up alive into the next round because the prospects are going to be pretty bleak otherwise. There's a rifle that could be retrieved. Indeed it is. Oh, the AK though chimes in and traded. So, I mean, as far as holding onto weapons go, Flynn2kBabyRage, they can dance with the best of them, but rounds, that's another question. Side note, I didn't even know you could get on top of these toilets.
Yeah, you can. I found this out the other day. I can't remember who I was watching. I think it was. It wasn't like it wasn't an esports tournament. It was just like a player that I watch on Twitch, and
Right.
and he did it to retain an AWP, and I was like, how the hell did you get up there? And chat then were more than happy to help me understand how he got up on top of the toilets, as you could probably imagine. And then about a 5-minute trip to YouTube, found a video, and yeah, it's a really good position when you think about it, because you're not going to check it, are you really? You know, like you're not going to see the legs above you, kind of thing, and you can catch a few players off guard, or at least one, but then you're going to give that spot away, and the next person's going to know that you can go there.
Well, Soundaz making moves all across the map. 3 players pushing through middle as the remaining 2 test the extremities. Bowden, he's got so much space, is caught off, and Respect gets a double K in middle, so RazJ trying to calm things down. We'll get 1 in return, but that's the attack petering out, apart from the B side of things, and now this is questionable. Flynn2kBabyRage, they had the advantage, but it's been squandered. Nice utility and nice trading from Soundaz to level the playing field, and now they have B site. I don't know how they've done that, but fair play to them.
It's like a reverse, isn't it? TJ's playing his original positioning from the first map we watched today. The only difference being is he's now assaulting the site rather than taking holding the site control. Oh,
okay.
That's good.
All on TJ now as the movement comes through. 2 kits, smoke to come down as well, so not even going to matter. Oreo comes up top trumps. Will help put a 3rd round on the board, and it's nice to see some frags with his name.
He's been performing quite well. 7 and 10. Sort of.
I meant in the previous map.
Yeah, I know. And I was saying this map that he's been performing quite well. You know, he's been putting out kills.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm with you. 3-9 as we reach round 13, petering down to the end of the first half. Psyched myself out for some reason there because you mentioned the second half or something. Open B site though, and that's where Soundaz are going to be heading towards. Hazazag not able to do much on that side of things, and honestly, I might just call a save here if I was Flynn2kBabyRage. But you know what? They're going to go for things. There's an opener. 4 versus 4. As TJ is very close. There's so much utility to hold off this defense as well.
This is just standard TJ things, basically, in the minute. Oh, he will get pushed out of position in the end, but the damage is already done. You got 2 AWPs there left to defend the site on their own. Bodon will pick up 1. RazJ picks up the other as well. And yeah, I mean, you'd expect Godlike to be already vacating the site by this point, but he's a little bit delayed in getting away.
Oh, that's
he loses that.
He stays alive as well.
Oh, that's that's nightmarish, isn't it? Really.
Well, don't even know how to break that one down. The 3-10 is the scoreline as Soundaz just run away with things right now. Finally, no double up setup from this CT side. Not sure it's going to matter at this stage, and Soundaz, they're going to be pressuring this A site, so interesting CT setup actually, as they've pushed through middle for all intents and purposes as far as I can tell. RazJ aware of it, trying to watch. Oh no, there is a double up setup. I'm mistaken.
There is, yeah, still. Imperial and Godlike again.
Well, no idea what to make of this situation. B site is completely
It's,
open
yeah,
as Hazazag has fumbled the bag and left it for Soundas to just walk right in.
it's a good read.
This is looking like an 11-3 scoreline. I was going to make a joke that I probably shouldn't, but 5 versus 3 on the retake now. This is doable. 4th round potentially
Oh,
on the board.
definitely.
Nice adjustment from Imperial. Nice adjustment again, and well, Bowden left alive on A, but it won't matter because all of his teammates have fallen. Doesn't even care about losing the round.
I don't know if he was trying to signal something to us then, for some reason. Just felt like he was
Just
going,
BM.
look at this. Look at this right here.
Look at this
Look
man
at
that I have defeated.
look at all the things that I have done here.
Well, round 15, last round of this first half of the consolidation final, might I remind you. Elimination
Hmm.
at this stage. Winner books their place in the final against Own, and I kind of can see the writing on the wall, but you know what? It's up to the players in the server to prove us wrong, so wait to see what happens there. Sound has taken absolute liberties towards A, just content to run up scaffolding with knives out, so bold as you like to get towards the site. I think Flynn2kBabyRage have been really rocked, and you can tell that just by how brash
Yeah.
Sandaz have approached this side.
It's the position, isn't it? It's a defeated position. You know,
Yeah.
like how much control they've just allowed Soundaz to gain, you know, to get all that foot in the way they have. And then look at this, the fadeaway, they're backing off, get themselves into a better position where they can perhaps rotate through mid into B. And Baby Rage haven't even read into it yet. Now they have. You got to play a rotate them back. That's gonna be respect. But he's picked up early on. This will call the ball as far as rotating that all back into mid control position. Imperial is going to go try to scramble, decide to help out Hazard as best he can. Hazag will pick up one in the form of TJ, but Sass is able to retort back off him, and that's it for the first half. Jammer 11-4 is the scoreline as we head into the second half of map one, of the only map actually. It's a
Yeah, it is
best
the
of
best of
one,
one.
Nick. Sort your life out. Yes.
Well,
You
as
can
we
tell it's a
round off.
Sunday, can't you?
Yeah, yeah. Man, no idea where this one's going to go, Nick. Can you?
No, I mean, well, it feels like it feels like it's a done deal already. But then again, I mean, Flynn could pull something out of the bag entirely that we're unaware of that they've got the potential to do in second half. You know, it could go. Yeah, I would like to say it could go either way, but 11-4 is definitely not the scoreline that you want to be in, right? For it to go either
Yeah, it's
way, like it's a very hard scoreline to recover back from.
all dependent on that pistol. It all
Yeah,
starts there. So, long, long road ahead for Flynn2kBabyRage. They were the winners of this engagement last time these two teams played. Doesn't seem to be the case in this scenario. They really have been rocked. And yeah, the lack of confidence that I'm seeing is telling of how the game has played out so far. Sound as just came out of the gates swinging, and yeah, it's just kind of been story of the game so far. Look at that aggression, the confidence to even go for something like that isn't something that would happen if this was maybe even a 9-6 scoreline. So you can see Bowden has the quickest rotation on Earth, but it might not even matter because these T-side players are pushing onto the A site and the trades are back and forth, but it's all onto Oreo and he's taken down finally by that big rotation. And man, that's a tough loss to be taken. 12-4 as yeah, the writing on the wall. That same
I,
metaphor. I'm going to bring it back. It's
yeah.
already been foretold. It's just about how long can Flynn2kBabyRage hold on.
As far as important rounds are concerned, that was probably one of the most important for Flynn to really try and stem the blood loss essentially that's happening to them at the moment. Yeah, I think we're in dangerous territory at the moment, and as long as that grenade, as long as Soundaz can continue the momentum up, this is going to be over before we can even call it. To be honest with you, Jammer, they've got bomb control at mid. I know it's a pistol round against SMGs, but still, Baby Rage are losing rounds they can ill afford to lose at the moment.
Well, 13-4. Consolidation final on the cards. I guess Own would be looking at this and thinking, all right, boys, let's prepare for sound as we beat Flynn2k Baby
Hmm.
Rage. Time to get the watch cards up, see if we can suss out how these guys play. Seems like it's going to be a 5-man push through the B stairs. And that's going to be the complete opposite reaction from this Flynn2k Baby Rage side. This is so
This is
weird.
crazy.
And the
Yeah.
MP9s are beating the AKs. This is not something I thought I'd say. But 3 versus 4 on for the... Well, not even the retake. They have yet to plant the bomb. So, yeah. That's a thing.
This is crazy. It's good fake plant though. I mean, like it draws the sound out and it draws the FAMAS out into, you know, into providing its obvious position. But yeah, 14-4. That was that doesn't happen normally. You know, you see the MP9 just running all the way through spawns, all the way through to get to that sort of position, then basically play the back lines, but has nearly enough a full team. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know how to word it properly in that way. You know what I mean? Like that's how unheard of it usually is.
I mean, it's just telling to the confidence that I was talking about. You know,
Hmm.
it's hard enough to play against a good team, but when they're feeling this confident and they're making plays in this sort of fashion, it's, yeah, blindingly difficult to do anything. It's just suffocating.
Mm.
Hero Galil will be the story for this round, trying to pull the rotations, maybe force Sound as into an unforced error, but yeah, it's just a weird situation to be left in. 14-4. Trying to make anything of the matchup can be hard for any team. It seems like Flynn2kBabyRage, they're trying to pull the rotations. There's the rotation from themselves, and you can see the CT side so responsive. They're already here on the A site before they've even got up ramp.
It's what you like to see from a CT side, being reactive like that, getting themselves into good positions. Just got to land those shots, though, and Imperial and God like Tiger are landing all of their Glock shots at the moment. It is now a 1v3, and it's just a frantic smash and grab as far as Sound as are concerned, as they get themselves back into position and just wipe out any kind of aggression. This is it,
Yeah.
Jammer. Match point. This seals the deal. Sound as go through to our next game, which will be a best of 3 in the grand final, if I'm not mistaken.
Right now, the plays that I'm seeing from this T side are like epitomized by the word desperation plays. There's no other way for me to describe this.
Hmm.
When you're watching a Glock frantically spam down someone with an AWP, just like firing back with a USP. Desperation plays at its finest, but I can't blame them. It's 15-4. It's an unfortunate spot to be in. Valiant effort, you know. Let's round up, you know, how Flynn2kBabyRage have played so far. They went on that upper bracket run, beating Sound as the team that are on the verge of beating them. And then they, of course, you know, came up against Own, who were the favourites. Unfortunate in that one, and now they're left with the barrel of Sound as, you know, staring down at them. Not sure what to do, but if anyone can do it, I think it would start off with the AWPer, maybe. I don't know.
So just to confirm, winner of this game goes through to the best of 3 against Own. Own are actually undefeated in the
Yes.
entire tournament. So, I mean, again, that just tells you how much of a big matchup that this would potentially be. The loser of this game settles at 3rd place, so not bad overall over 2 days worth of play to finish up in 3rd
Nice
place. I think
adjustment.
that was very nice actually. Yeah. Molly's playing
Well,
havoc at the moment, though, with the plans as far as Flynn2k are concerned. Bomb has been dropped
okay.
elsewhere, but it doesn't matter. Hazag and Godlike will pick up the kills.
Well, Flynn2k, they'll keep hanging on, just survive that much longer. Maybe they can make it respectable, but we don't quite believe in the comeback just yet. Maybe wait until they get double digits for that, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm laughing, and it's not because like like not in a BM way. I'm laughing because I've never seen it before where a team can come back from being at match point to a draw. I've played in a few games where it's got close to being like that, in like matchmaking and wherever. But like I've never commentated a game where that is, that is the outcome. Um, so this would be a first for me, Jammer, at least. I think it's a first for both of us if that
Do
happens.
you do you remember that story from Taco about when they played Cobblestone? It
Yeah.
was 15-5 and Fallen calls a time, and he's like, "Guys, if you think we're good, prove it now." This is the exact kind of situation that Flynn2kBabyRage find themselves in, and
Hmm.
well, I just hope for their sake that they don't end up with the same scoreline.
Yeah, yeah, yep, yep. I remember that story. I remember that going around HLTV for like weeks afterwards as well. People talking about it all over the shop. Godspeed Sus again. Playing off
Imperial,
a good position with oh, I was gonna say playing off a good
Imperial.
position with TJ, but Imperial last man standing, Jammer.
He's the only thing that stands between Sound Daz and reaching this grand finals. It's not a good smoke, but still got a bit of room to breathe. It's being chipped down though. Just going out, taking fights, trying to boost those stats. And that will be it. 16-5. Sound as are your consolidation finals winners. They will face Own in the grand finals of this tournament. Commiserations to Flynn2kBabyRage. They were the victors the first time these two teams matched up, but it's not to be today.
Unfortunately not. We are going to take a break while we get everything set up for our grand final of the day. We'll be with you shortly. And I think sort of ahead of schedule now, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe. Who knows? I'll probably get told off
Not
by
us.
production in a second. Not us to be ahead of schedule, Jammer. That's never how it works. Next up is a best of three against Owned. And Sound as I've got a mammoth task ahead of them, but I mean, it's made mammoth just really because Owned are undefeated, right? Like being the favourites as well to go through. Any closing words for yourself, Jam, before we take our break?
Just thanks to everyone for watching and the people behind this tournament to set things like this up. You know, like smaller regional tournaments are hard to come by. So yeah, thanks to everyone for participating, joining in, and making this thing what it is.
Definitely. Same for me as well. Also, very much looking forward to the grand finals, and we'll take a break and be back with you soon.